Explain buying your way out of oppression.
You know, when you think you got that new car, you got that Uchi Gucci Wuchi, you got, you know, the Mercedes, you got the Maybach, you think you've arrived.
Willie D. Live.
Drive on the wrong side of town at the wrong time of the day, and somebody just gonna pull you over. And we forget that those things are still happening, that you're not supposed to be driving in that car. You're not supposed to be, you know, looking the way you do. Don't get it twisted. We think we can buy our way out by thinking, oh, I have a bigger house. I live in a gated community. Turn your music up a little too loud, or let your kids have a party that may be one too many people. And when they have parties and it just be, you know, they go get what they call that white girl wasted, it's all good. Those are kids just having fun. Let your children have a party in that same neighborhood, and that's a bunch of thugs terrorizing our neighborhood and making our neighborhood unsafe. You didn't buy your way out. You just simply went to a different neighborhood and a different zip code, and now you still got the same problem. So we think we've arrived often when we certainly haven't. Because, again, you may have made it, but unless the rest of your community have made it, then you're just simply, you know, living in the big house while you got, you know, folks struggling out in the fields.
Man, how hard is it to get a law passed?
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Well, I know you had some trouble, like with some really major laws that I would have thought would have been academic.
Yeah.
But you know, you couldn't get them passed. For example, House Bill 2908. That was something that you spoke against. You out of 150 lawmakers, you were the only one to speak against the idea of charging people for questioning the police.
Mm-hmm.
Questioning the police, they wanted to make it a hate crime to question the police. Out of 150 lawmakers in Texas, you were the only one to speak against it.
Mm-hmm. Explain
to me how that's not problematic.
Oh, and don't get me wrong, that is very problematic. Not everybody is going to see. A lot of times politics is about going along to get along. A lot of times it's about a
right, because you can't do it by yourself.
It's
right.
about a compromise. It's
right.
about what hill do I want that I'm willing to die on, right? And so if you got to remember, a lot of times laws apply to everybody. They're only applicable to some. You get it? So
yeah,
I realize I'm in that law that it is applicable to when it comes to police. That is applicable to me. That ain't gonna be applicable to their children. Their children didn't go through that. Their sons and their family members didn't go through that. So I get it. And so when I see something that I realize that is going to be impactful, not to me, but to my children and my community, I will certainly stand up and say, you know, I know this is not going to be popular with the cops. I know this ain't going to be popular with the union. I know they're going to be mad at me for this. Yeah, I'm going to have to look over my shoulder, you know. But at the end of the day, that's not going to thwart my efforts to stand up and say what is right. So you got Democrats that oftentimes it don't apply to them. They might be Democrat, but they ain't walked that mile in the shoes that I've had. They haven't been in my community. They don't understand what goes on. I thank God that my mother taught me about my ancestry, taught me about where my family came from, taught me about my great-great-great-grandfather. And every time I speak against banning or speak to try to ban Confederate Heroes Day Confederate Heroes Day is a state holiday.
Yeah.
And when I wanted to ban it, and well, those are heroes that I said, no. My grandfather also fought in the Civil War. Oh, of course he did. I said, no, you don't get it. You don't understand it. My great-great-great-grandfather fought for the Confederacy. And they sit there and they scratch their head and say, yeah, I know. My great-great-great-grandfather was a rapist. He was a pedophile. He was a slave owner. Therefore, who do you think he's a hero to? I'm not here to say that that man was a hero. So again, people don't understand what we go through, and so they're not going to fall on that sword. They're not going down that hill, and they're not going to speak up for things like that. I live this every day, and I'm going to speak up.